Hillary Clinton. I think people were sort of blinded in terms of rural America. For me, I mean, as a Latino immigrant from Guatemala, I think a lot of his views didn't coincide with the way that I thought.
And on the one hand, it's definitely possible that sort of Trump and the sort of hardline conservatism that we're seeing will really heavily impact us. I mean, now they have control of 3 branches of government, and they're going to put in Supreme Court justices, and it's hard to see how they won't try to push a conservative agenda. But at the same time, we have so many people who voted for the opposite thing, who didn't want to see that, who really are against a lot of the policies that he's put forward in the past.
There must be a balance.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people are still going to push for liberal reform and for more social reform in that regard. You know, you saw a lot of just upset.
It's very separate. With my wife, we both supported Hillary Clinton, but then I've had friends who supported Donald Trump. They're still my friends, and I still love them as much as I loved them yesterday.
The group that she should have been able to count on, these are unemployed or poorly employed white males, not college educated. That group was the one that went for Mr. Trump, I'm afraid. And she wasn't able to get that group of people. They constitute a fair number of people in those special states, which are called, these are the special states that have a high number of electoral votes, and they have also a large population of people who are either unemployed or underemployed. And that group, I'm afraid, voted for Mr. Trump.
I understand that Hillary Clinton would be like the first female president, and I guess people are scared of that, and they're like, oh, she's corrupt, but I kept going but he's so much worse. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a difference here between a veteran politician who's made mistakes and a corrupt businessman who has sexually assaulted people. Like, there's a huge disparity there, and I didn't think people would go for the other one.
Election with great concern is that we didn't have any really good choices. The Republican nominee is careless with our security and with the rights that we as Americans hold dear. And Hillary is clearly financed by big banks, and the moneyed interests are behind her. And in that aspect, Donald was right, is that he was running against the establishment, but he wasn't really very clear on what he was for. There are very few positive statements coming out of that guy, except making America great, but with no description on how that might happen.
For a long time, the way that the United States and a lot of other Western countries have worked is that there have been really intelligent people who've told other people how to think and how to feel and what's right and what's wrong. And that's good because the people who are in charge are intelligent, but it also causes a lot of problems, and it's not a great form of self-government. I mean, the whole idea of democracy is that even stupid people have a right to vote and to defend their own interests. So I think what we're seeing is a big swing towards populism, where people are rejecting that idea where someone knows better than they do. I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to be great at all. I think, obviously for myself, as like a white privileged person, things will be fine. Like, I think he will lower taxes. I think it'll be good for entrepreneurs. But at the same time, I think his foreign policy is probably going to be rubbish. I'm a little nervous to see how that plays out. And then I do think that especially minorities are kind of in for a rough time in the next 4 years.
It would promote people to take care of themselves a little more rather than depend on others. There's quite a few people around here I know that have been living off of welfare for 20 plus years, making up excuses. So I think, people might be a little more industrious.
I was on Facebook last night telling all my friends to go vote, but the main thing in the U.S. is people do not think that their vote actually counts when it actually does. It's so important to vote.
I feel like in the next 4 years we're going to probably have it tougher than it already is because, let's say with policemen, they usually stop minorities in the street because they're suspicious of them, but if you're white, then you don't really have that fear of that happening to you. So I feel like it's going to be harder for minorities.
Yeah, especially looking for jobs too.
We don't like change very much, but we need change. But yeah, it's a weird situation we're in right now. But we definitely have change, one way or another. In the past, there was middle ground. People were more in the middle. They're like, yeah, but this and that. But this year, it's just
we're so divided.
It's
Yeah.
so divided, and I think that's what hurts me the most, is seeing us divided so much. When we're trying to unite so much, there's just so much wrong that we need to unite to get together. But
Yeah.
we'll see if we ever get there.
As long as everyone comes together, I'm hopeful. I think we need to band together and be more united. And if things don't work out, it's what democracy's for. We have another election in 4 years, so.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm pretty hopeful too. I thought that after the results, the concessions and stuff like that from the Democratic side, and the way that the current administration reached out to the president-elect, as long as, like you said, if everybody comes together, you know, we can hopefully move forward. And I kind of have some positive feeling about the future.